I think this idea has really stemmed from a quote or like an idea that I've been hearing, and I agree with. But pretty much the idea is that hard times create strong men, and strong men create easy times, and then easy times create weak men. So this idea that, if there are hard times, you're going to end up with a group of strong people, and those strong people will create easy times for the generation after those people, and then pretty much those people and that those further generations down the line have an easier time in life. So that's the concept. But I think I've been thinking about it more on like a personal level instead of a generational level, like a more broad level. But for myself, I'm thinking, what has my life been like? Or have I had hard times? Is my life easy? Has my life been hard, or has my life been easy? Have I faced challenges? And I think, like, obviously everybody faces challenges, but for some reason I've been, I guess, comparing my challenges to the challenges that I've heard people face in their lives who are of similar age to me or just in my generation. And I'm thinking to myself, like, for me personally, I feel like my life has been easy, but as I started to journal about the things that have happened in my life, I realized that it hasn't been easy, but maybe I've just had a more positive outlook on things. And also, like, growing up, my mom and people around me have been positive, and I haven't been so stressed about things that have happened in my life. So let me just try to, like, define, I guess, the way I defined hard times when I was journaling. So to me, I feel like my life has been easy growing up, simply for the fact that, like, I've always had a roof over my head. I've never gone to bed hungry. I haven't experienced any type of abuse or bullying in my life. And there was one more. I think those were the main ones. Like, financially, I haven't gone to sleep hungry or been without shelter, and I haven't been abused or bullied in school, at home, or anything like that. And also, this is another thing, like, when I think back on my life, I'm like, I haven't really had, like, any depression or any other type of mental illnesses, but throughout my whole life, I have had anxiety. And when I talk about it, I'm like, yeah, I've had anxiety, like, my whole life since I was a kid. But looking back and even thinking about now, like, I feel like my anxiety hasn't been something that has been hard for me. But when I really sit down and think about it, and think about all the ways that anxiety has interfered with my life, and, like, just how I go about daily activities in certain periods of my life, I'm like, yeah, it has been challenging. So it's kind of like I don't know. I think I'm just probably comparing my struggles to other people's struggles, and I'm like, my struggles haven't been as bad as, like, the struggles that I've heard people go through. So my life hasn't been that bad. But then I also think maybe it's just my positive outlook on life. Like, maybe it's just the way that I've grown up and, like, how I've heard my mom speak. I'm just like, yeah, things are rough, but it'll get better, or, like, we're doing just fine. We have a roof over our head, we're not hungry, like, life is fine. But I think this topic has been so important to me just because I'm realizing that with the things I want to do in my life, I can't just sit back and have an easy life. I can't just sit back and be comfortable. Like, with the goals that I have to be wealthy and make an impact on the world and people around me, I'm realizing, like, I can't just sit in my comfort zone or avoid these things and like avoid these things and do these things. Like for example, public speaking. Many people are very uncomfortable with public speaking. Public speaking is not something that comes naturally to most people, but when you think, okay, I want this career or I want to achieve this level of success, you're going to have to get more comfortable with public speaking. You can't just avoid the thing in your life that you don't like and expect to still succeed to the extent that you want to succeed. So I guess I'm just thinking, like, to what capacity has my life prepared me for all the things that I need to succeed the way that I want to succeed? Like, have I experienced enough hardship? Have I, like, that's my literal thought. Have I experienced enough hardship in my life to be prepared for failure and all the things that are definitely going to come up, like, and try to knock me down? That's been my thought. And it's important because, say for example, if you want to be a professional chess player, you want to become like one of the best chess players. So say right now you have like X amount of experience in chess. You're not going to play people in chess who are the same, like, who have the same experience as you or at the same amount of like, you're not going to play people who are as good as you or worse than you. You want to play people who are slightly better than you and who you will probably lose to about 60% of the time at least, because those are the people you can learn from. That's where your edge is. That's the point where you're constantly improving and also realizing, like, okay, these are the things that I need to work on. And when you're playing chess, to keep up with this metaphor, with people who are just as good as you or worse than you in chess, you're not going to realize those things that you need to improve on. You're not going to get better. You're not living at your edge. So it is very important when you have goals in life, or when you just want to be a better person consistently in life, that you need to be pushing yourself and you need to be living at your edge, and you need to go out and do those things that you probably will fail at, like the first few times you do it, but eventually once you get the hang of it, it'll make you better at what you're doing. So yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. Let me look in my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, I think that I've had like some anxiety around this topic, just for the simple fact that I'm realizing, like, that was another thing. I feel like I haven't experienced any, like, well, when I haven't experienced any grief, I haven't lost anyone close to me and experienced like the pain of that. So I think I'm probably not the only one, but like, just the thought of losing somebody close to me brings so much anxiety. Like, I think that's probably the one example that I can think of why this concept is giving me anxiety, is like, I'm realizing that I don't have experience with grief. I haven't lost anybody close to me. And if you're like a similar person where you're like, one of your biggest fears or like whatever is losing your mom, for example, like, when you think about that, think about the amount of pain that would cause you. Like, I can think about it, but I've never lost anybody close to me to like understand how that might affect me, like how that actually might affect me in real life. And that's how I'm thinking about other hardships. Like, I don't know, I've never experienced being hungry, and I'm thinking, if at some point in my life something happens and I get to that point, how will I handle that? I'm kind of like, I guess, I don't know if I'm strong enough, if I've experienced enough things yet in my life, enough hardship in my life to know how I'll deal with that. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. I think I'm just overthinking things. But my main point is that I'm recognizing, excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold, but I'm recognizing that I need to be pushing myself more in life. And I have done that. I have started businesses based off an idea, and then put my money into it. I have invested money into ideas that I've had, and then pursued those things, and then failed at those things. I have started things that people knew about, and then decided, all right, I think I'm going to retire this idea. And then I have, as a result of that, faced some type of humility or embarrassment. I have failed at things. I've tried things and failed and embarrassed myself in front of people. That, for some reason, I'm very positive about it, because I guess I just realized, if I'm going to improve, if I'm going to do anything great in life, I'm going to have to try things and fail. So, yeah, I'm thinking I probably have faced hardships, but just because of my positive outlook on life, I don't really acknowledge them as hardships, or they just haven't impacted me to the point where I think about them and they make me say, yeah, I don't really want to be in that situation again. I'm going to avoid anything that might lead me to that situation. I think that's what a lot of people face when they're I want to start this idea, but I'm such a perfectionist. I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm still learning about the topic. When I do start, this venture, I want it to be perfect. I want to make sure I know everything so I don't fail, I don't mess up. But how will you ever get better if you're constantly pushing off doing it, if you're constantly just in the learning process? The best learning comes from doing and failing. I think that to be afraid of failing is probably one of the worst traits a person can have when it comes to trying to achieve goals and become a better person. So, yeah, I'm kind of split 50-50 with this idea of, have I experienced enough hardship? I don't think we can experience too much hardship, voluntary hardship. I think if you want to become a stronger and better person, more successful person, you have to put yourself in situations and allow yourself to fail. So, yeah, I guess when it comes to that, I'm on the right track. I think I could put myself in a position to fail more often. I probably could go out and put myself in situations where I'm speaking publicly and facing that fear. I could put myself in situations where I'm networking with people and facing this idea of embarrassing myself in public, or whatever it is. I'm recognizing I do need to be putting myself in more positions to improve. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. How you think you've been in your life. Have you experienced any hardships growing up or recently? And has that led you to become a stronger person? Do you feel more resilient to hardships that are happening now in your life? Do you feel like you're a stronger person because of these things? Let me know. I feel like I'm split on this idea. But yeah, I just wanted to chat with you guys. And this is one of my video journals that I've been doing. I like to do. And I actually sat and thought about this idea for a few days. So, yeah. But thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.